If you're a busy professional, entrepreneur, or executive looking to lose your belly fat in 2026, this video is for you, and I'm going to help you lose it no matter how long you've been struggling. If you're new here, my name is Kevin Hines, and over the past 5 years, I've helped over 800 career-driven men and women with losing their belly fat, even when they previously felt like they were too busy to do so. People like Ben, who at 40 years old lost 60 pounds as an entrepreneur. We have Nicole, who is a CEO of 80,000 employees. She's a board member for a bunch of companies. She's founding a new company as we speak, and she's also an author. At 50 years old, she lost 31 pounds. And we also have people like John, who's 50 years old. He lost 43 pounds, completely going from belly fat to six-pack as a CFO. They are, of course, just a handful of the 800 men and women that I've helped with losing their belly fat. So if you want the easiest, most convenient, and sustainable way to lose your belly fat, I need you to watch until the end, because I put everything into this video, and I promise if you apply what I'm about to show you in the next few minutes, 2026 will be the year that you lose the gut. So let's get into it. First off, I want to talk about what you're going to have by the end of this video. And the first one is going to be your specific daily calorie target. This is going to be so you can know with certainty that you're actually burning fat. If you're eating too many calories, then it doesn't matter what types of foods you're eating, you're not going to lose any fat at all. The next thing you'll get is your specific daily protein target. We'll get into it in a little bit, but protein is incredibly important for staying satiated, keeping your muscle mass, and actually making sure you don't just lose weight, but you lose fat specifically. You also get a bunch of convenient food and meal options for both of those targets. Again, these are specific meals built for you. This is going to be so you can stay on track even when life feels too busy. Next, you'll get a workout routine and schedule that is built specifically for you. This is so you can build and maintain that muscle mass, resulting in that more toned body that everybody seems to want. And lastly, you're going to get my overall system, hacks, and approach for losing belly fat, the same tips and advice I've given to these 800 men and women I've already worked with one-on-one. This is all so that after you lose the belly fat, you never will gain it back again. Before I get into the first step, I want to talk about why belly fat is so hard to lose in the first place. And number one is that it's usually the first place we gain it and the last place we lose it. So if the approach you're using currently isn't something you can follow over the long term, you'll either never lose the belly at all, or you'll lose it, but you're going to gain it right back because your system wasn't built for the long term. It wasn't sustainable enough for you, so you fell off, lost the weight, and gained it back. The next thing is that eating healthy just isn't enough. You can't just eat an all-natural, organic, whole food diet. You need a plan that's built specifically for you and built specifically for fat loss. So this brings me to step one, your daily calorie target. Talked a little bit about this already, but why does this matter? Whether you're eating healthy or eating poorly, you'll never lose an ounce of fat without being in a deficit. It doesn't matter what kind of snake oil people are trying to sell you on Instagram or any other platform. You're never going to lose fat without being in a deficit unless somebody chopped your arm off. And the opposite is also true. It doesn't matter if you're eating junk or if you're eating healthy foods. If you're eating in a calorie deficit, both of those will result in fat loss. So the question is, how do you make sure you are in a calorie deficit? So here's what I want you to do. You're going to open up Google. You're going to type in a TDEE calculator. Doesn't really matter which one you pick, but I like this one here. You're going to open it up and you're going to type in your information here. So let's say that you're 45 years old, weighing about 230 pounds at, let's just say, 6 foot tall. It's important that you put in your accurate activity levels. Assuming most of you watching this work an office job, you're probably pretty sedentary. But obviously, if you're already working out a lot or getting a bunch of steps in throughout the day, make sure that what you pick here is representative of that. But we'll keep it with sedentary, and you're going to click calculate. This is going to generate your maintenance calories on a daily basis. So for the information provided, it shows that you burn about 2,360 calories per day. Now, of course, this is an estimate, but it's generally pretty accurate. If you consume fewer calories than your maintenance, then you will lose fat. The thing is, how many calories should you be eating? Now, there's 3,500 calories in 1 pound of fat, meaning if you ate at a deficit of 500 per day, you'd lose about 1 pound of fat per week. If we take this number of 2,360 and we subtract 500, you should eat about 1,860 calories per day to lose about 1 pound of fat per week. Obviously, make sure you're entering your information up here, pick this number, and you should subtract between 500 and 1,000 calories. After you've done all of this, make sure you save that number. It's going to be useful for what we talk about in the next few steps. Now that you've got your calorie target, let's talk about your daily protein target. Again, why does this matter? Protein is the answer to staying full despite being in a calorie deficit. You also have fewer cravings, recover faster from the gym, and maintain your muscle mass so you don't just lose weight, but you lose fat specifically. So again, the question is, how much protein should you be getting every day? Now, calculating your protein target is pretty simple. You want to aim somewhere between 0.8 grams and 1 gram per pound of your current body weight. I put a quick chart here for a bunch of different weight levels. Obviously, take a quick look, and whichever makes the most sense for you is around the range of protein you should be getting each day. So again, if you're about 230 pounds, you should aim to get a minimum of about 180 grams of protein per day. Now, a lot of you probably aren't consuming anywhere near this amount of protein currently. That's okay. You can build yourself up to it. What's important is that you don't just start overfeeding in an effort to reach your protein goal. As long as you're under that calorie amount that we set in step 1, you're going to be great. So already you should have 2 important things. You'll have your calorie maximum that we set in the previous step, and then you'll have your daily protein target. Stick with both of these things, keep them with you, and keep them top of mind. As we move on to step 3, we're going to talk about building your diet plan. Only way you're ever going to lose the weight and keep it off is by finding a meal strategy you can stick to forever. So this means you need a plan for every situation imaginable. You need a plan for when you only have 10 to 15 minutes to squeeze in lunch between meetings. I used to work 70 plus hours a week at a car dealership. I had back-to-back meetings from 7 a.m. to, honestly, it didn't really matter. It could be 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. I only had a few minutes to squeeze in lunch, so you need something that's going to work for that. You also need something that's going to work when you're burnt out after working all day and you refuse to cook when you're back at home. You need something that'll work when you want to cook your own meals, but you don't want to spend a ton of time doing it. And then lastly, you're going to need something that works when you're out of town and you only have access to fast food and restaurants. You'll achieve long-term, sustainable, and permanent fat loss when you learn how to mold these situations into those calorie and protein targets that we determined in steps 1 and 2. So how do we do it? How do we mold these different situations into those 2 targets? Let's start talking about your diet plan structure. And before we get into these specific meals themselves, we need to set the overall structure. So I put a calorie target and a protein target here just for example purposes. Obviously, these 2 numbers should be representative of what you set in step 1 and 2. But let's talk about your eating frequency. Some of you may like to have 1 meal a day, 2 meals, 3 meals, but whatever it is, it has to be underneath these 2 categories here. It has to be under your calorie limit, and it has to be close to hitting your protein target each day. To be completely honest with you, it doesn't matter if you're eating 1 meal a day or if you're eating 12 meals a day. It'll be fine as long as you're doing those 2 things. But what we want to do is set some kind of structure so that it makes it easy to follow on a daily basis. So using these 2 examples that I set here at 1,800 calories, maybe that'll look like 2 meals a day and some snacks, with meal 1 and 2 both being 700 calories, and giving yourself 400 calories for snacks. Boom, you're at 1,800 calories. If you're doing 3 meals a day and you don't really care for snacks, 600 calories each, or maybe you're the type of person that likes to have a lighter breakfast, you can do 300 calories in the morning and then split the rest between your final 2 meals. All of these would get you under your target of 1,800 calories. But again, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to choose this option here to walk you through what the rest of it will look like. After we determine your eating frequency, how many meals you're having per day, whether you are having snacks or not, we need to plan for where those meals are likely to come from. This is based on your work schedule, your food preferences, and ease of access. Sticking with that example that I picked in the last step, let's say that your first meal is likely to come from restaurant or fast food. Maybe you grab something on the way to work, or you have an early meal on your lunch break and you're going to grab it from a restaurant or fast food. Maybe your next meal isn't going to come till you get back at home. We want to know where these things will come from. After you determine where these meals are going to come from, you'll want a plan for what you can actually eat. So I'm giving you some examples here again. Knowing that your first meal is going to come from restaurant or fast food, maybe we have something like a Jersey Mike's Club Supreme wrap. Sometimes you have to get crafty with these restaurant meals, but it's possible and it'll make things a lot easier for you. This specific meal, this Jersey Mike's Club Supreme wrap, no oil, no mayo, extra meat, and unlimited veggies will be around 650 calories, which fits right into that meal 1 for the day. Next, we're going to move on to a meal that you're going to build at home. For example purposes, I have this buffalo chicken bowl. It's 8 ounces of cooked chicken breast, 1 cup of cooked white rice, peppers and onions optional. Gonna put some sugar-free buffalo sauce in there and 2 tablespoons of light sour cream. Again, it's pretty simple. You can put it together in about 10 minutes and it gets you right around 660 calories, which fits right under meal 2 for your cooked at home meal. And lastly, we have this snack allocation of 400 calories. Maybe this will look like an Oikos 000 yogurt, an apple, a protein shake, and turkey jerky. This is going to put you right at 440 calories. Combine all these things together and you will be under your total of 1,800 calories. But you don't want to only eat these things for the rest of your life, right? That's not sustainable. So you want to have multiple options. Maybe option 1 looks like these meals that we just put together. Maybe option 2 looks like something different. Maybe your first meal is 740 calories, second one 720, and maybe you have 380 for snacks. Again, you're at 1,840 calories, right around where you need to be. Both scenarios are great, but you need to have variety. So what does that look like? Knowing that your first meal is likely going to come from restaurant and fast foods, you want to give yourself a bunch of different options. So what we like to do for our clients is to provide that for them. Obviously, these options here don't have specific calories and protein attached to them. I don't know what your specific calorie needs are going to look like, but this just gives you an example of what things should look like so you have variety and you have structure. Here's an option from Jersey Mike's, Chipotle. Maybe you have a local restaurant near you that you can get a steak salad from. Chick-fil-A has a couple great options, and Subway even has a protein bowl. Each of these things will fit right into your meal one of the day. You'll also want multiple options for the meals you're going to cook at home. Your goal with these meals should be to make them as easy as possible so that the more time you spend cooking, cleaning, and prepping, the less likely you are to actually make those meals. So just again, a few different options for you to pick from, providing you enough variety. You have a buffalo chicken bowl, maybe some air fryer chicken strips, breakfast burrito, an 8-ounce steak with veggies and a cup of rice, or maybe you even do a meal delivery service like Factor or HelloFresh. Again, the only thing that matters is that it's fitting into your 700 calories here for meal 2. And lastly, you want to make sure you have a bunch of different snack options for your snack allocation here. We talked about these already, but it could be anything as long as you're staying under calorie and hitting your protein target. I want to iterate one more time that these are all that matter: your calorie maximum and your protein target. Doesn't matter if you're doing 2 meals and snacks, 3 meals and no snacks, or any scenario imaginable. 7 meals a day is fine. 1 meal a day is great. Even if you wanted to do 100% of your meals from restaurant, that's perfectly fine. Sounds crazy, but if you wanted to eat 15 Greek yogurts every day, as long as you were staying under this number and getting close to this, you will do great. This is the kind of structure that busy entrepreneurs and executives need. So I'm going to say it one more time. Being in a calorie deficit and getting enough protein are all that matter. You can use restaurants, you can use fast food, you can use snacks, you can use meal delivery, you can use convenient grocery hacks. Whatever makes it easy for you to remain in a deficit is what you should be doing. So let's proceed to step 4. Step 4 will be your workout routine. And to be completely honest with you, you can lose fat without any exercise at all. A deficit's all that's required. But maintaining your muscle mass is key to keeping fat off once you've lost it, because muscle mass is metabolically expensive. And if you want to build or maintain your muscle mass, you need to incorporate strength training. So let's talk about your workout routine structure. It's going to vary on your equipment access, your schedule availability, injuries, limitation, and more. But regardless, here are some tips to help you get started. First off, I want you to pick whatever your workout frequency will be. And how you're going to determine this? Well, it depends on what you can realistically commit to. I don't want you to say that you'll do 5 workouts per week if you're just sitting here thinking, well, there's no way in hell I'm actually going to do that. If you can fit in 2 workouts per week, great. If you can manage 3 to 4, that's fine. Generally, 3 to 4 is the sweet spot for optimal results. But again, you don't need to be perfect. You can get 80% of the result just by doing 20% of the work. So after you've picked which frequency that you can commit to, you're going to want to follow some kind of structure here on the right. If you're doing 2 workouts per week, you should probably do a full body split. 3 to 4 per week could be your push-pull legs or an upper lower. And if you wanted to do 5 times per week, it's not necessarily optimal. You might suffer a little bit from fatigue, but we do have people who enjoy going to the gym on an almost daily basis, and you could stick to something like push-pull legs again. So after you have the number of days you're going to work out and the split that you'd like to use, you want to put together the exact movements you'll be doing each day. For example, if you're doing a push-pull leg split, on your push day, your movements may look like incline chest press, cable lateral raise, tricep extension, shoulder press, chest flies, etc. Having this kind of structure is going to help you in 2 different ways. First off, you're not going to waste your time wondering what movements should I do. And second, you'll have an easier time tracking your workouts so you can focus on progressive overload. If you didn't know already, progressive overload is the act of doing more weight or reps over time. So let's say in week 1, you did incline chest press with 150 pounds and 10 reps. In week 2, you should really aim to do that same amount of weight for an extra rep or increase the weight slightly. This is going to be proof that you're building muscle and getting stronger. Now, I've been going to the same gym for about 9 years at this point, and frankly, I see the same people almost every day, and I have for those 9 years. Unfortunately, most of them look exactly the same as they did those 9 years ago, and a lot of it has to do with their diet, but it also has to do with their training structure. So our clients that come and work with us one-on-one, we teach them how to work out effectively so they can actually build muscle and get stronger, really getting that toned body. Now, a couple tips for you to follow when you're doing your split would be step 1, taking your sets within a rep or 2 of failure. You could do 30, 40, 50 reps per set, but if none of them are difficult, you're not going to build muscle. So my recommendation is to take them within a rep or 2 of failure. And ideally, you do this by sticking to the 6 to 12 rep range. You want to pick a weight that's going to cause you to reach that level of failure between 6 and 12 reps. You want involuntary muscle slowdown to be the reason you fail a set, not because you're out of breath or because you're fatigued. The next step is that you should get sufficient rest between your sets. The goal with these workouts isn't to get your heart rate up or to sweat. The goal is to build muscle, so you want to make sure that you're actually ready for the next set before you start. And lastly, don't cheat your reps. You want to use full range of motion. You You don't want to use your momentum, and make sure you're controlling the concentric and eccentric part of each rep. If you're doing these 4 things when you're sitting there working out and you're staying under your calories and you're getting close to your protein targets, then you're going to have a successful body recomposition, meaning you'll have less body fat, more muscle, and a more toned physique. Before I move on to the last part, I want to quickly recap what you should have at this point in the video. By now, you should know your maximum calorie intake. Maybe that's 1,800 calories. You should know your daily protein target. Maybe it's 150 grams. You should know your daily meal structure. You should know whether it's going to be 2 meals a day, 3 meals a day, with snacks, without snacks. You need to know what that's going to look like. Next, you need to know where those meals are going to come from. Is it fast food? Is it from home? Is it home delivery? Then you need to have a list of options for each of those scenarios. You need to know the number of times you're going to work out per week, what you can realistically stick to. You'll need to know the workout split you'll follow, including the specific movements, and you need to know how to train effectively. 6 to 12 reps, close to failure, sufficient rest, and proper reps. You need to have all of this before we move on. But you're probably thinking at this point, what else could there even be? And the last step that I want to talk about is sleep optimization and why it's important in the first place. Poor sleep destroys your hormones. It'll cause you to be more hungry. You'll require more food to even feel full. It's going to raise your stress levels, promoting fat storage, and it's going to slow down your metabolism, meaning after all of this, you'll burn fewer calories. So just to summarize, when you don't have good sleep, you're going to be hungrier. You'll need more food to feel full. You're going to store more fat and you'll burn fewer calories. It's a total fat loss nightmare. So the question is, what do we do about it? This is the bulletproof sleep protocol that I like to give our clients. You may not be able to do each of these things, but every one that you can will improve your sleep quality further. The first step is to cut out food 3 hours before bed. The reason we do this is so that your body can focus on sleep rather than digestion. Next is that you want tinted blue light blockers at night. Blue light is only naturally found in nature during the daytime hours. When you sit down in front of a TV or a computer or your phone at night, your brain's going to think that it's daytime and it's not going to allow you to fall asleep. If you get tinted blue light blockers like these here, it'll protect your eyes from the blue light at night. Next, you want to try effective supplements like glycine, magnesium, and L-theanine. I don't personally recommend anything with melatonin in it. For myself and our client, melatonin can really cause you to feel groggy in the morning when you wake up. The next thing you want to do is to have the same bedtime and wake time 7 days a week. This will help you establish your circadian rhythm. And lastly, you want to make sure you have a proper sleep environment, making sure it's cold enough and pitch black in your room. If you do these 5 things, I promise your sleep will improve significantly. And there you have it. That's the ultimate guide to losing your belly fat in 2026 as a busy professional. Again, over 800 men and women have used my strategy to lose their belly fat despite feeling busy as hell. If you want my help to build all of these things for you so that you can lose the belly fat in 2026 guaranteed, click the link in the description to apply for my help. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.